Hi, this is Marsha.
And this is Kelly.
We are the 2U's of 2U's Fiber Adventures. Thanks for stopping by.
You'll hear about knitting, spinning, dyeing, crocheting, and just about anything else we can think of as a way to play with string.
We blog and post show notes at 2usfiberadventures.com.
And we invite you to join our 2U's Fiber Adventures group on Ravelry. I'm 100 Projects.
And I am Better in Motion.
We're both on Instagram and Ravelry, and we look forward to meeting you there.
Enjoy the episode. Hi, Kelly.
Hi, Marsha.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. Taking a little break from schoolwork today to come home and record the show.
Are you done for the day, or do you have to go back?
No, I'm done for the day. I'm actually going to have dinner with some friends after we get finished, and that'll be fun. Somebody who lives in Idaho, who's back visiting, and so we're gonna all have dinner together, nice. And then we have a retirement party that I'm hosting here on Friday. So for one of my other colleagues, so I've got a lot of socializing this week.
That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. It also kind of feels like, okay, I just need to get through Friday. Like that kind of feeling. And I'm looking forward to hopefully next week doesn't have that feeling where there's an event. Because last week it was, okay, I just have to get through Constitution Day because we had the Constitution Day readathon last Wednesday. And so 5 hours and 45 minutes in the college center reading the Constitution on a continuous loop. We had a spreadsheet of people who had committed to 10 and 20 minute time slots. And so they would come in and I would introduce them, and then they'd pick up where the last person left off and keep reading. So it was a good event, but it was a lot of organizational stuff and a lot of worry that it was going to be a flop, like you don't know until it actually happens if it's going to actually work. So anyway, so that was last week.
Yeah.
Like, okay, hold your breath till this is over and then you can relax. And now it's like, okay, I had to get stuff ready for the party, and it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to the retirement party, but it's like, okay, I got to get this done and this done and this done. Okay. And then I can relax.
Yeah.
So, but the weekend will be nice after it's done. I have I don't have any commitments for the weekend. So that's pretty good. How about you?
Can kind of relax from I would say you can kind of relax from school and your summer because you were so busy this summer, right? With all of the dog training and dog shows and stuff.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
In fact, the dog show that I had thought we might have to go to this coming weekend, we didn't have to go to. So that was kind of nice to have.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm in recovery mode. Because I had way too much fun last weekend. Because last weekend I went to the Two Knit Chicks podcast get together in Lake Tahoe, and I have to correct myself. It's not I kept saying Lake Tahoe, California. We were on the Nevada side. I learned something about Lake Tahoe. I did not realize that the border between California and Nevada goes right down the middle of the lake.
Yeah.
And then at a certain point, I think maybe like 2/3 of the way south down the lake, it veers off to the east and cuts through the little town of South Lake Tahoe. But anyway, I learned something. So anyway, but it was super fun. It was Saturday, September 18th through the 21st, and had a really fun time. Met a lot of people. Well, a lot of people were there who are friends that go to the Knockers retreat, and new people. And this group came out of the Two Knit Chicks have a Zoom call I think it started in the pandemic. I think, well, actually, I don't know about that. I'm assuming a lot of Zoom calls started in the pandemic. And out of that, they had the idea of having a get together. And so some of their listeners put this on, and they did a great job. It was a really nice retreat center called Zephyr Pointe, right on the shoreline. And it was very nice. And they had some really wonderful gift bags for us that people had made the gift bag. And then there's all kinds of interesting stitch markers in there, which I'll talk about those stitch markers in a second. And then when I get on, what else do they have in there? Yarn. We all got yarn and just all kinds of things in there. It was fun. And then one of the women who attended, she made us all beautiful project bags. And someone else made little bags that you can put like your cake of yarn in and have it in a little pouch, and then with a strap that goes around your wrist so you can, walk and knit at the same time. Or stand and knit, Anyway, it was really fun. But I'm going to say something about the retreat. Oh, so I have to say, first of all, I flew into Reno, and our friend Pat, she picked me up at the airport and then took me over to Jimmy Bean. I did not realize Jimmy Bean is actually located in Reno, Nevada.
Yeah.
So we went to see that.
Oh, cool.
And then went over to the retreat. And then the other thing at the retreat I learned to do is Deb, Meedah, it's Meedah1. She did a little tutorial on Japanese short rows. And they also, in our gift bags, was a little tube of stitch markers that look like fish, kind of, that we then used for that her little tutorial. And you don't need to have the special Japanese fish shaped markers. And I put in the show notes, I did a link to a video of how to do the Japanese short rows. And Kelly, we were talking about it before we recorded that you've done them before.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember what pattern it was, but I have done Japanese short rows before.
Yeah. And it's really simple. I mean, as I say, there's a link to the video, but basically when you get to the point where your short row is going to go in, you turn the work, but instead of doing the yarn over, what you do is you take a stitch marker, and it has to be a stitch marker that you can open and close. You can take on and off, so it can't be a solid circle. And so you just clip that on there, and then keep knitting or purling back, the direction you want to go. And then when you come back to that stitch marker, what you do is you pull it up and put the stitch onto your left hand needle, and then knit through the stitch that was on the needle originally, and then the one that you pulled up, you knit through that. So it's basically your the wrapped yarn, except you don't have to wrap it. It's just mark, and it's nice too, because sometimes I will admit I have a hard time finding that that wrap stitch, and so it has a marker there, and then you just take it off.
Yeah, and the marker's like a little handle for pulling up the stitch.
Yeah. So,
cool.
So I just wanted to mention that. That was, I learned two things. I did not go to California. I went to Nevada.
Well, and there's one thing that everyone is dying to know, Marsha.
Oh, yes.
Did you go in the lake?
Yes, I did. And I had reinforcements too. Our friend Tracy and Inta, who we both go to the Knockers Retreat, they joined me. And there was a lot of hubbub about the fact that we were crazy going in that ice cold lake. Now, let me just say something. Maybe it's because I'm from the Pacific Northwest. I didn't think it was that cold. It's not hot and it's not warm, but it's not really that cold. I mean, it's not like here it's not like a glacier fed lake. Like we have, up in the Cascades, we have, like, for example, Lake Diablo, which is fed by glaciers, and that's really cold. You put your hand in and it's numb. It's not like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little colder than what I've been swimming in Lake Washington this summer. So, so anyway, we went and jumped in, and then I really thought, because the way everybody was talking about it, I really thought that I'm going to get in and then it's going to be like the polar bear plunge, that kind of thing. I'm going to have to get out of there immediately. And I ended up doing like 6 or 7 laps back and forth between the dock and the shoreline.
Oh, nice.
And we all hung out there. It was really nice. So I'll do it again next year.
All right.
And there's a lot of photographs of me in my swimsuit out there that I really don't want to see.
Out in the world.
Yeah, they're out there in the Ethernet, I guess. Yeah.
In the cloud.
Anyway, but they're in the cloud. Yeah, there is a funny picture. It is on my Instagram feed of Pat. Stayed up. A lot of people just stayed up at the kind of like quote unquote bunkhouse where we were staying. That's where we had a kitchen and the area where we could gather to knit, and our rooms were there. And she just stayed up there, and she got a great photo of me jumping into the water, which I posted on my Instagram because my hair is flying all over the place. And so anyway, cool. It was a really fun weekend.
You can put it in the show notes, Marsha.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I can put it in the show notes. Maybe I'll do that. Anyway, it was really fun. It's just a fun weekend. And again, as we always talk about, I came home and I sort of felt like I had to go to bed for a day. That's all right. That's not really true, but I really felt like I needed to just not talk to anybody for a day because I had talked for 4 straight days. You know that feeling.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough of that. I just wanted to give everybody an update. Yes, it was super fun, really fun. Great people. Everything was great. So anyway, should we talk projects?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I'll go ahead and start because I've got, well, not quite a finish, but a finish.
Woohoo.
I am sitting here right now weaving in ends on my Lace and Fade boxy.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm really happy with it. It turned out really great. And in fact, before the show, I was talking to Marsha, and as I was talking to her, I realized I had never tried it on after I finished the bind off. And so I put the sweater on and looked in the mirror and then sent Marsha the picture so that she could see what my sweater looked like.
It looks great.
Thank you.
It's a great fit too.
Yeah, it's I mean, what everybody has said about those patterns, the boxy patterns, is that, they really do look good. And so I'm really happy with it. I love the way the yarn came out. I still have almost a full skein of the variegated yarn. I don't know what else I'm going to make with that yarn, but I have a lot of it left. And I was tempted to keep going a little bit longer because I did have so much of it left. Like, oh my gosh, I'm kind of sorry to finish. Not because I didn't want to be finished, but because I kind of wanted to keep seeing what would happen as I, as I continued to knit with the yarn, what was gonna show up. And so anyway, but it's a good color combination. It's a good fit. Now I just have to get these 1,000,017 ends all knit in or all woven in. Because every stripe, right, I have ends. And then there were a couple of places where I did a little bit of color management of my variegated yarn. And switched skeins or did a little monkey business there because I wasn't liking what was happening. But for the most part, I loved the way the yarn was, variegating and knitting up. But anyway, it gave me some additional ends that I wouldn't have had. I made the sleeves a little longer, I think, than, well, I don't know. maybe I think they're a little longer than in the pattern pictures, but they're not, totally long sleeves either. And again, I partly just did that because I was enjoying the play of the colors, like, ooh, what happens next? What comes next? Let's wait till I get to this color in the cake. So, and I did the 1x1. We had talked about the rib at the bottom. So I did continue to do the 1x1 broken rib at the bottom, and I like that. I did not go down a needle size. I thought, okay, I'm not even going to go down a needle size. It might be a tad bit flary at the bottom where the ribbing is. I don't know. I'll have to look at the picture again and see. But not in a bad way, just more.
Well, and have you washed and blocked it yet?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay, that's it. So it might all, as they say, come out in the wash.
Yeah. And I was thinking maybe it could be a tad longer, but I also know that the cotton linen part will sort of sag a little. And so I didn't want to overdo it on the length. So yeah, I'm super happy with it. I would make this sweater again. It was a lot of fun. And I love the lace part, although it gave me fits. It was such an easy lace pattern too. And I had so many mistakes. Lack of concentration. So, but anyway, that's done. So that's a big finish. Well, except for weaving.
Congratulations.
And blocking. And then I finished my bears and I dropped them off at school this morning. So that's done. I finished the combing of that CVM fleece. I finally just decided I was done. I didn't finish all of it, but I had a really good amount. I forget how many ounces. I think I have close to 250 grams of fiber to spin. So it's a little more than a braid. And so that's good. That'll be my spinning for the fall, I think. And then I did some additional washing of fleece while I was doing my dye experiment. So I washed the rest of the Shetland. You remember the Shetland that I did some of it with the Swint bath?
Yeah.
So I washed the rest of that Shetland, and I had washed some of my California red, and that's what I was using for the dye experiments. And so I washed, this was last weekend, I washed the rest of the California red so I could put it in my additional dye pots. And I spent the last weekend with dye pots. I made another toy-on dye pot, and I can't remember when we talked before. I don't know if I had done the toy-on or not, but I did a toy-on dye bath before last weekend, and I got yellow. And I was expecting to get orange. I took the fiber out of the dye bath and rinsed it out, and it was yellow. And I was like, okay, that wasn't really what I wanted. And it was late, it was after dinner that I did this. And so I just rinsed it, put it out to dry, and left the dye pot sitting there. And then the next morning I came out to look, to empty the dye pot and finish cleaning up. And the dye pot was super orange overnight. And so I thought, okay, I just didn't leave the leaves soaking long enough to, break down enough and actually give up that orange color. So I dumped it out because I didn't have time to do anything with it, and I didn't have a container to save it in, and I have lots of toy-on in my yard. And so this past weekend, I started a toy-on dye pot on Friday night, let it sit overnight on Friday night, and then Saturday morning, put wool into it, and it was orange. So I put in both California red, and then when the California red finished, I put in some of the Shetland. And the California red turned out to be a really pretty orange color. I think I have a picture of it on my project page.
Let me go look.
I was really happy with the orange that I got on the California red. And California red fleece is not red. The babies are red, but once they grow up, that color fades, and the wool is kind of a cream color. It's not a bright white. It's a cream color. But I got a really nice red or orange on that California red fleece, and compared with the yellow that I had gotten the week before. So I have these two different colors, the yellow and the orange, on my California red fleece. And then I thought, okay, well, this looks like there's still a lot of dye in this dye pot. It's still quite orange. So I put some of the Shetland that I had washed into that dye pot and let it, cooked it a little bit, let it sit over the weekend. Then I decided, okay, it wasn't taking up very much color at all. I mean, not yellow, not orange, nothing. And so maybe I had used up all the color, even though the water had color in it. Maybe, it wasn't the kind of color that could go onto the fleece. So I put more toy-on leaves in it, cooked it longer. Still, it's not taking up a lot of color, but I just left it on Sunday when I was done. I just thought, I'm just going to leave it to soak. And so that dye pot is still soaking with the toy-on leaves and the Shetland. And then I did a dye pot with tan oak leaves, and I got kind of a beige color. But then I was kind of excited because on the little bag, the little lingerie bag that I used to hold the leaves, I crunch up all the leaves and put them inside of a little lingerie bag. On the lingerie bag, it had turned kind of gray. There was a portion of it that was kind of gray. Or darker, a darker grayish brown. And so I thought, okay, well, maybe that's, if I leave it in there, maybe I can get that color on my wool. So it's still soaking. And then I picked walnut leaves, or actually I didn't have to pick them. They had fallen. There were some walnut leaves that had fallen on my side of the yard. The neighbor has a walnut tree. And so I picked up the walnut leaves from the ground, and I made a dye pot with walnut leaves. And it's also brown, but it's a different shade of brown, but it's also lighter than I was expecting. And all of these leaves, like the fig leaves, when I cooked them, when I did the fig dye pot, the fig leaves, they're not super stiff, and they just kind of wilted. And they looked depleted, right? When I was done with that dye pot, the leaves looked depleted. And all of these leaves are kind of stiff, and they just look like they weren't even cooked. And so I kind of feel like maybe they need to rot a little bit, before they'll give up their color.
Yeah, or I was wondering, if you beat them a bit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To release the just take a sledgehammer to them or something.
And something to break down the cells.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they really are.
I would say the oils. I don't know if there's any oils in it or not, but
yeah, because they really are all pretty stiff leaves. The only one that I'm pretty that I think might just be the fleece. The differences in the fleece is the toy-on leaves. The Shetland fleece is a little bit orange, but I wonder, because it's such a lustrous, shiny fleece, if that color is just not really going to stick as much as on the fleece that's more like a rough, short. It's like a medium, kind of a medium workhorse kind of fleece, whereas the Shetland is really shiny. The locks are really shiny and lustrous, and maybe they just don't have enough grip, because they're so slippery. They just don't have enough grip on the color. But I'm hopeful about the walnut leaves and the tan oak leaves that I can get a darker color if I just wait a little long. If I just let those leaves mush up a bit more. So anyway.
Maybe I think kind of curious about the idea, like I said, of hitting with them something to break down the cell structure. And then also I think your point is letting them sort of ferment in the pot. I don't want to say rot,
Okay.
kind of ferment to break down that the cell structure as well,
It does seem like they have more to give up. There's, there's still something in there that they could let loose of.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at your project page and I see the difference. The California red fleece dyed with a toy on, that's kind of the yellowy gold color. And then the one the long steeped one. And they're very different. At least from the photographs, very different.
They are very different. I was shocked. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I was really kind of, and pleasantly surprised by I was trying to get orange and I was a little disappointed by the yellow, but I was really, really happy when I saw that I was able to get orange. Even after I rinsed it, it was still quite orange. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I'm having fun. I felt like a witch with my witch's cauldrons this past weekend with all these leaves and icky water and wool and stirring it up. Yeah. It was quite fun. So I think I want...
Very interesting.
I think I want the California red fleece to be completely dyed with California native plant dyes or things in my yard, because not everything in my yard is a native plant. And I think I dyed... I don't know. I dyed some California red with the pelargonium. So I'll probably use that. That was very beige.
And the pelargonium, how did that turn out?
That's the one where I got on one fleece I got a darker beige, and on the other fleece I got the color of the.
Oh, okay.
If you go down to the bottom of my page, you can see the four colors. And basically, I got colors that I already had in my fleece stash.
Right.
So
yeah. Okay, I remember that. Yeah.
And that was So I won't use those again. I won't dye anymore with that plant. But I'll use that. I'll use that wool in the same project. I'm kind of thinking I want to do one project with all of these colors on California red fleece. So.
I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to, I have lichen. I have a bag of lichen that I collected a long time ago and I haven't ever done anything with. And that would be a fun one too, because depending on the type of lichen, you could even get like purple. So I'll have to, that one I'll really, I'm not going to just experiment. I'm actually going to read up on what I need to do.
Yeah.
So, because there is information about lichen. There's not that much information out there about dyeing with toy on, except I did know I could get orange possibly from someone who had done it. And then like tan oak, I can't find anything that talks about tan oak. Mostly they're talking about like the oak leaves that are all like lobed. I don't know, like blue oak. Is that a type of oak? Not the kind of oak that we have in this area where we have a lot of tan oak, and then like the coast live oak with the leaves don't have any lobes. They're just one leaf shape. No fingers on them. So I don't know if that makes a difference, but I didn't find anything about that type of oak specifically. So anyway, that's my projects.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you about my projects. Okay. I have no finished projects. I'm still just knitting on those red heart and soul socks and the colorway black jack. I'm knitting on them right now. I have to tell you, I do not like the patterning on these, but I'm going to finish them. And they're very, it's scattered kind of. There's no,
it's not really striped.
No. And there'll be some stripes and then these random bits, anyway, random bits of white on the black. But it's all in the eye of the beholder, because at the retreat, some people were talking about how they didn't like it, the striping either. And then this one woman came up and she says, oh, I love that way that is striping. So as I say, all in the eye of the beholder. But anyway, so I'll finish them. So I have completed one sock, and I'm halfway down the leg of the second sock. And I knit on it quite a bit, because I'll get to that, and a reason why I knit on these socks quite a bit at the retreat. The other thing I worked on at the retreat is the deer scarf for Ben. And I added fringe to one end, and I've knit 48 inches. So
that's good.
I don't know how long this is. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's, I mean, I could just be done with it now, but I just sort of like the idea of having this massively long scarf that they just wrap around the deer, because it's what I have $2 worth of yarn, and I don't know. So I'm working on that. And I did work on that a bit at the retreat when I needed something bigger to work on, bigger needles, and when I got tired of number ones for my socks. The other thing I brought to the retreat to work on was the Mountain High sweater by Heidi Kermeyer. And I'm using my hand spun in that sort of pink and green. And I knew I could not cast on at the retreat, so I cast on a few days before. And I realized that what you're supposed to do is you cast on with the larger needles, immediately change to the smaller needles and do 9 rows of garter stitch. And then you change to the big needles again and start increases and your short rows. Well, I didn't read that carefully, so I just did all the garter stitch in the larger needles. And when I got to the retreat, someone said, it doesn't matter. You're talking about such a small difference in the sizes of the needles, right? Mm-hmm. So I just pressed forward, and they had a cast on party one of the days we were there. And I think the first full day we were there Friday. And so I was sitting outside with people trying to do the short rows. And then I realized I needed to go inside to do the short rows, because I was getting really confused trying to follow my pattern and listening to people and talking to people, and then a little bit of wind blowing and the pattern blowing away. So I went inside and I finished them, and then I counted all the stitches, how many stitches are supposed to be in the back, the front, and the sleeves. And I just counted the sleeves, and the first sleeve, I counted the stitches. I had 12 more stitches than the pattern required.
Oops.
Yeah, oops. And I thought, 1 or 2, you could probably fudge.
Right.
You can't fudge with
12,
that many.
No.
So I had to go stand in my room for a while and look out at the lake. And then I made a cup of tea, and I ate a whole bunch of caramel corn, and stood back and stared at the lake for a while. And the words of the prophet came back to me, the great sage of, if you have to say, I think it will be okay, that means you have to rip it out. And I thought, I think I was feeling uncomfortable about the fact that I had made that first mistake about the size of the needles with the cast on, all of that I just described. And then this happened, and I thought, it's just telling me I need to rip it out.
The universe has spoken.
The universe has spoken. So I thought, I cannot do it here. I cannot try to cast this thing on and do the short rows while I'm here. So I just put it in my room, and I left it. And I just worked on the horrible, ugly acrylic red scarf for the deer and my socks. And because I didn't really get a lot of knitting done, honestly, because it was just fun talking to people too. So anyway, I came home, and I was very tired, but that night I ripped it out and started over again. And then I think I knit. Was it that? No, maybe it was the next night. What day it was Monday. I called you. No. So I ripped it out Monday, and then I cast on again. I did it the correct way, and I only done about 3 rows when I talked to you on the phone, because I started having second thoughts about my size. And so we had a conversation on the phone and decided to change the size I'm making. which meant I then ripped it out. I ripped it out a second time. I'm sorry. And so now I cast on again last night. I did all of the garter stitch ribbing, right? Yeah, I think I ripped it out. Oh, so Monday night I ripped it out again. I cast on again, and then I've finished the neckline. I've done all the increases, and have 5 more rows with short rows. And I have been using the Japanese short row technique that we learned at the retreat. So it looks a lot better. I feel a lot happier. I should also say, too, I don't know what my problem was. We never know what our problems are. We never know what makes us do these things. But it, of course, on a raglan, you do the make one left, make one right. So in this case, because you're doing those increases, while you're doing short rows, you're doing make one right, make one left in the knit, and also in purl. And I don't know what happened to me, but maybe it was because there was so much conversation going on around me. But instead of make one right, make one left, I just knit through the front loop and knit through the back loop.
Oh.
So I don't know if I don't think that would make any difference with my stitch count, because you're just increasing one with that technique.
Right.
But it also doesn't look right. Because you end up with a weird sort of like little purl stitch kind of in there. So there was a whole bunch of reasons why it just needed to be ripped out.
Yes.
So
the rule needs to be, you can only bring a sweater to the retreat if you're past all the fiddly parts and you're just going around and around on the body, right? I think, yeah. Yeah. I think I tried to start a sweater at the retreat one year and was like, okay, that's just a disaster. Yeah.
The first year, maybe it was, I never learned my lessons, Kelly, because I don't remember now which year it was, but I brought a cabled sweater to work on at the retreat. Do you remember that?
Yes.
The red one. And I think I finished the back. It was it's a type of sweater where you knit it in pieces and then sew it all together. And I've never finished it. And so I think I need to that's another one that just I have to say goodbye to it. But, and then one year I cast on a lace weight shawl that was all lace. It was a lace shawl, lace weight. I cast on down there. And I remember that was like that. I guess I need 3 times to learn my lesson. Sorry.
Yes, we need
started. But it was ridiculous.
You know how like websites or podcasters or whatever will have like printables, little handouts, and you can like sign up for their mailing list and you get a handout. We should do a handout. Of all the rules that it has taken us multiple attempts to actually learn.
Yes. I'm what my brother always says about food, when in doubt, throw it out. I think what I'm going to say, when in doubt, rip it out.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, just rip it out and start over.
I certainly did enough ripping out on this sweater, I have to say. There were a couple of times where I was able to go back and fix a missing yarn over in the lace pattern. And like I said, all this is just a row or it's V's. It's just V's.
Yeah.
Yarn over V's all the way across the whole thing. And for some reason, that lace pattern, I just kept getting it messed up. And I do think it has to do with your frame of mind, right? I was trying to knit at dog shows. I was trying to knit in the car on the way to dog training. There were just so many things where I was not concentrating. Knitting at wineries. There's just so many things where I wasn't concentrating, and I would miss something, and then some of it I could fix, but I don't know. I think I ripped back on this sweater probably 5 different times to get back to a place where I could actually, either get back to where I could fix the mistake or just rip out the mistake altogether because I couldn't figure out what the hell I did. Oh my gosh. Yes.
The other thing about this sweater too is because normally, and we've talked about this before, but normally when I'm using a combo spin yarn, right, for a sweater, I alternate skeins because I don't want to have really bold, stark stripes or anything. This one, and we talked about, it's very subtle changes because it's the colors are, it's like a pink and then a pink and green skein kind of, and so the colors are more similar than like a combo spin. And so I'm just using one ball of yarn at a time. But one thing I'm going to have to just experiment as I knit, because right now I'm just using, I just have one ball I've been using. It's the first one I started with. But when I run out and I'm going to have to switch balls, I'm going to have to decide, do I just start knitting with the second ball or do I alternate a couple of rows before I start? I don't know. It's because it's, okay, let me just grab it and tell you what it looks like. So it's like I think I might want to. I agree, because the way this one I cast on, the garter stitch is all sort of the pink color, and then it gradually moves to brown, and then I knitted a whole bunch of sort of more green, and it's gradually turning into sort of brown and pink now. So it might look strange if I finish in the middle of a green and I start with pink, like a hard break like a hard stop and a hard start, You might I'm going to have to figure that out.
You might do what I did with this one, where I said I had to do some shenanigans with monkey business with the colors. There were a couple of times where I didn't want it to keep going on and on and on with brown. So I took my other skein or my other cake and I unwound it till I got to a place that was similar, but closer to the end of the brown. Like I only had maybe 4 inches of that same color, and then it changed into the purple or the blue. Mine has a lot more variegation than yours does, so I don't know if that would work, but that was something that I did. And then I just kept that ball that I had wound off till I got to the color I wanted. And at a different point, I was able to use that ball of yarn to, adjust some other color that was going way too long.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, the thing is, none of this, it's all random how this was spun, right? It's not like the only thing that was not random, I would say, is that, the combo spin is completely random. This one, I did spin the entire length of I broke the braids into long strips. And so I would spin a long strip and another long strip. I didn't just randomly spin these braids, right? So there is going to be some long color repeats. It's going to look one way up around the collar, but then as I start expanding, getting more stitches and I'm down to the body, it's going to look different too, right? Just because you have more stitches. I don't know. It's going to be fun to see. It's just an experiment, just to see how this is all going to work. And
that's kind of why
but I might have to do a little modifying
with the knitting, because it was so fun. I did, like I said, I did a little modifying too, but it really is fun to see how it plays out and how those colors just kind of mix together.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is the first time that I've knit something other than a shawl with hand spun from like a variegated braid. And it was definitely fun. So I think yours will be really pretty. I'm looking on your page. I don't know if this picture is from the most recent version or if that's from the original version. Oh, but it is very pretty.
That's the one I knit at. What's on my page right now is the one I knit down at the retreat and then had to set aside and go stand in the room. I came home and I think, yeah, this one, I came home and I took a picture of it and before I ripped it out.
Yeah. But I can see the pink around the neckline is nice.
Yeah. I think it's really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that project bag in the picture?
Uh-huh.
Thank you to somebody who donated that to the D-Stash room at Knockers. I think that's super cute, that fabric. It's got birds and stuff all over it.
Yeah, that's nice fabric.
Yeah, super cute. Anyway, that's what's going on with me in terms of projects. Let me see. Let me check the show notes here. I don't think I have anything else going on. I do want to mention two things. This is unrelated to knitting, but my friend Kim came over, this was a month or so ago, and we were working on a little craft project, and I have no decent sewing scissors anymore because Ben came and took my sewing machine. Remember, it was actually my mother's 1945 sewing machine. He took that to his house, and I discovered he took all my scissors too. And I had these interesting clips, that I had bought to hold all that, it's gone. He went over to his house. That's okay. I don't mind because Kim came over and she brought scissors, and the brand is Kai, Kai. They're Japanese. I used them and I went right over and ordered a pair for myself. They are incredible. They are so sharp and make such a clean cut. They're incredible. They're not cheap. I know I'm not supposed to shop on Amazon, but I got them on Amazon for about $60. I think she paid about $70 or $75. But if you have that kind of money to buy scissors, they are incredible. I mean, they really are. There's not very many things that I try and I turn around and I just buy it. But I did. First cut, I thought, I'm getting these scissors. They're incredible.
Okay,
and then
so I'm looking at the price. And honestly, that's about the price that I paid for my gingers 40-something years ago when I was making the wedding dress for my wedding.
Well, and I remember I had to buy scissors, well, more than 40 years ago when I was at the community college and I took a tailoring class, and they were very expensive. I mean, I had to really, I don't know if they were, but I bet they were $50. I mean, I know, and those are the ones he took. I don't have them anymore, but they were expensive. I mean, I had to really think long and hard about whether I was going to buy those or not.
I always laughed that my scissors were the most expensive, almost the most expensive part of the wedding. Were those scissors?
Yes.
And I still have. In fact, I'm using them right now as I'm weaving in ends. But I need to take them to be sharpened. Anyway,
and then the other thing I bought too is there's a woman. She has an Instagram page. I believe she lives in Vancouver, Canada, but she buys old sewing machines and old knitting machines, and refurbishes them. And so she's really interesting to watch. But one of the episodes, she said she bought these gloves that have LED lights in the thumb and the index finger. And they're $14, but I ordered those. The brand I got is Perigo, Parigo, but there's a ton of other brands out there. But I'm kind of interested. I got them because I think they might be helpful for threading the heddles and the reed. I have I have an overhead light, obviously, in the room, which is quite bright. It has a very bright light bulb in there intentionally. My brother lost his mind when I put that in there because he wants everything, 15 watts. But anyway.
Oh my God, yes. You can never see any handwork.
Yeah. No. So anyway, and then I think at IKEA, I bought these little tiny clip-on gooseneck lights that have LED lights in them. And so but even they're never really 100% in the right place. So I've not done any warping of the loom or threading of the heddles or reed yet, but I'm kind of interested to try these gloves. So I'll put a link in the show notes to what I bought. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe they're going to be a pointless, but I thought it was kind of a clever idea.
Yeah.
So
Well,
maybe people have them. They can.
They can.
Listeners might be able to, if they have them, they can report in what they think.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been reading the Warped Weavers board, and several people have shown how they've installed an LED strip, like underneath the castle of their loom, which I can imagine that would be nice because we have an LED strip under the cabinet or under the cabinet in the trailer. And that's really the first place I've ever had under cabinet lighting. We don't have it in this house. I've never had it in the other houses that I've lived in. And when I turn that light on, at first it feels like, oh my God, that's bright. But when I'm actually working with, in the kitchen with that light on, it's like, oh, this is nice. So I could imagine having the LED strip attached to the, somewhere on your loom would be a nice feature too.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at those gloves. And let me know how they work. But
I know before you buy them, you need to. I have to let you know, give you my feedback on them. So,
interesting.
Anyway, so that is it for me for projects. And Kelly, we just have to mention neither one of us are going, but Lambtown is coming up very quick, October 4th through 5th.
Yes.
And in Dixon, California. Neither one of us can go, but we're just going to mention it.
Yeah, and I think it might actually be good weather this year, not 100 degrees, because it's been cooler. This has been a cooler summer. Although the last couple of, we had 80 degrees on the weekend, and we had 90 degrees yesterday. And then today we had just a weird rainstorm. I don't know what's going on with that, but anyway, there's the potential for it to be actually pleasant for people who don't enjoy 100-degree temperatures.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then we have now another along we're going to announce. And Kelly, you mentioned that listeners, and we had some feedback from listeners that and I have to admit, I did not even realize, I know this, but I didn't think about it, but we've not had a knit along for a really long time. We just have for a while now, we've just had the summer spin in and the winter weave along. And that's specific to spinners and specific to weavers. So we've decided we're going to have a knit along or a crochet along. And well, it could be any kind of along you want, but we're going to do a home along. So we were thinking it'd be fun to make something for your home. Or, so Kelly, I wrote down some ideas like home decor items, like in your craft of choice, like pillows, afghans, rugs, towels, tea cozies or mug cozies, pot holders, dishcloths.
Yeah.
This morning I was thinking of like bags. A lot of people are making knitted bags or like those farmers market bags. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts about what other things we could make?
I think you said this, but I've been thinking about a blanket. And I've got those chenille rugs to worry about, to work on. There's a pattern for Christmas trees that you make. Basically, there's different ones, but one of them is like I-cord that you thread on a stick to make a Christmas tree. Like that'd be fun. Christmas decorations. Or, the Arne Carlos Christmas color work, Christmas ornaments. Anyway, so lots of ideas, and I was just trying to find who in the Ravelry group who had mentioned it, and I can't find it to remember your name. It was Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie, for bringing this to our attention. It's been fun to figure out what we're going to do next. But she had mentioned that she was rereading or re-listening or no, she was listening to back episodes from 2018 or something like that, and noticing things that we were doing back then that we aren't doing anymore. And yeah, it's basically because we just started getting in the habit of getting on the phone and talking without really planning what we're going to do in our show.
Yeah. So I'm excited about it. So I guess the way to define this maybe is home along. It doesn't really matter the knit, crochet. If you want to weave, that's fine. I think it's just sort of defined by you don't wear it on your body. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Your home wears it, and you can give it to people. It can be, as we say, it can be Christmas decorations, Christmas stockings, ornaments, Santa's laundry line, which was so cute.
Oh my gosh, yes, that
charming thing, or it could be practical things, hot water bottle covers, all those cozies for anything, aren't there? Yeah. I think we're open to all kinds of items. And I think what we'll do is, we were talking about this before we recorded, that maybe we'd put a thread together for people to put ideas in. Actually, Kelly, is that what I want? Do we want a thread, or do we want a bundle? That's the word I want, a bundle for ideas.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be fun. I'm kind of excited. So I actually have a pillow. I'm thinking, well, I have the rugs I'm super excited about weaving. But as far as knitting, I have an Arna and Carlos pillow pattern that I bought years ago. And I thought that might be kind of fun to make too. So we'll see. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do, but.
Well, good.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, but the dates. I know we have to say the dates, though.
When are we going to do this?
I forgot. We're going to start October, nice and neat. We're going to start October 1st and end December 31st. So that means that's, you have quite a bit of, I think, a fair amount of time. Well, that's 2 months, a little over, yeah.
Actually 3.
No, it's actually 3 months. 3 months, 3 months. And it's also kind of helpful, too, if people want to be spurred on for making holiday gifts for people. You could,
Yeah, it gives you some time it gives you some time in December to finish up holiday stuff.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
I know, I am too. I think it's going to be fun.
I could do punch needle.
I could finish the skull. I have to tell you, around September, I start thinking about that skull. Because I was going to, with the first thing, I was going to get it done for Halloween. Yep. Oh, yeah, right. Sure enough. But anyway.
That's funny that you should say that, because I can't remember what episode it was that we were talking in. And I thought to myself that I should mention something about, Halloween is coming and there's that skull still. And then I thought, oh, don't be so mean.
That's okay. I deserve it all, because I just never I need to get going on that, but I don't know.
Well, I mean,
someday
I've had the fabric for the punch needle rug I want to do in the trailer since the last year of stitches, whatever that was. And yeah. So
Kelly, this is a judgment-free zone here in this podcast, so.
Right.
I judge myself enough. We don't need to.
We judge ourselves. Yeah. Pretty funny.
All right. Anything else we need to discuss?
I think that's it. Oh, if you were part of the Summer Spin-In and you somehow skipped listening to the end of the last episode, make sure you do listen, because we have prizes that haven't been claimed yet. So I know people are people are pretty routinely listening either the week it comes out, all the way up to 3 or 4 weeks after it comes out. So, so I know there are people who just haven't listened yet. But if you skipped over the end, if you were listening and you're like, oh my God, they're going on and on, make sure you scroll to the end and listen to the prizes, because you might have been a winner.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we'll say goodbye. And I think next time we record, it'll be into October. So maybe we'll have an idea of what we're going to be doing for our home along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. And then we will be having the winter weave along. This winter, we'll go ahead and talk about that next time. But people are already starting to think about their weaving projects, I know. So, in fact, we have people posting in the 24-25 winter weave along thread because that's the only one that's up and they're already thinking about their weaving. So anyway.
Oh, okay. Maybe we should correct that and get it, the new thread
I'll get a new one up there,
Okay. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for listening. To subscribe to the podcast, visit 2usfiberadventures.com.
Join us on our adventures on Ravelry and Instagram. I am Better in Motion, and Kelly is 100 Projects.
Until next time, we're the 2Us
doing our part for World Fleece.